Bro, I was saying, like, what did you mean when you say that? I think it was Logic. You said showed you that you can experience the music through the photography or something.
Yeah.
Like
so
that.
Basically, when he went on his Under Pressure tour, he had a team of photographers with him, and he kept on posting stuff on Instagram. But these were like insane images that I was seeing like every day from like their tour stops or behind the scenes, and it really inspired me, and I wanted to get into that. So that's when I started like wanting to like mesh my photography with like the music industry, basically.
Nice. Yeah. That's cool, man. And I was gonna say another thing, man. So I know we're jumping. I'm gonna jump a little bit into the future and then we'll backtrack. But I want to say, how did you get that whole Steve Aoki thing like to come?
That was actually crazy. So the heart of how that happened was networking. So
like social media networking,
like in person. So I was at this show for this guy named Kaz. I don't know, he's part of Dreamville. So I was shooting him freelance, and I happened to like get backstage and whatnot. It was over at the Songbird in DC, and I met a guy there that he's basically a journalist, and he wanted to make his own blog. So a couple months pass, and he hits me up saying that there's this festival going on over in, I forgot where at, but it was here in Maryland, and Steve Aoki was the headliner. And then some other people were Tyga, Rich the Kid, and who else was supposed to... Lil Skies was supposed to be there, I think.
You can see all those shots on Gustavo's Instagram, by the way.
But basically, he got me into that, and then... someone else I knew at the festival as well, another photographer, he got me backstage. And then from then on, I just tried to finesse my way without getting kicked out.
Hell yeah.
So, like, for a lot of times for photographers, because sometimes, like, is it fun for you to just, like, I'm wording this weird, but,
okay.
Word how it's on your mind.
In my mind, what I was going to say was, like, you don't necessarily have to always have credentials to get into, like, concerts and all that. Like, sometimes you can finesse it. Is that something that you've done before? Like,
to be honest, I haven't really like finessed in my way into like concerts before, but I finessed my way into like shooting headliners before. Because like I've shot basically in the beginning, it was like me shooting for openers, and then from the openers I would shoot whoever was headlining.
So after the openers, they'll kick that group of photographers out and like put a new group.
So how it works would be, it depends on the venue, but if you're at a venue that has like a pit, which is like the little space in between, like in front of the stage, you only get 3 songs.
Really?
Yeah, you only get the first 3 songs, and then they'll kick you out, and then whoever's next, you get the first 3 songs then. So you only get 3 songs.
So 3 songs maximum. There's no one photographer there the entire like night.
Or there's basically so. Whoever got like credentials for like the show, they'll get 3 songs like along with me or whoever else is there. They'll get 3 songs, and then they'll get kicked out by security.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sheesh. And this is all concert photography, so that's it's super strict.
No, it depends on the venue. Some venues they don't have a pit or whatnot, and you can shoot the whole entire show.
Okay.
Yeah, so you just really got to do your research and know, because like places like the Fillmore, they're gonna be strict about it because it's a bigger venue. But if you go to maybe like the Howard Theater, it's a bit smaller, but they have no pits, so you could just bring your camera and then shoot whoever.
Dude, that's smart.
Have you ever like been in the crowd and just shot it from like
100%.
fans?
100%, yeah. That's the most like difficult thing. You're basically just like hoping you're getting like the right shot.
Right,
yeah, because I've shot a couple artists like that. I'm trying to think. 21 Savage I shot like that. Smino, Kevin Abstract. Who else? Amine I also shot like that, just through the crowd, just standing there like the entire show. But it's rough, but like sometimes you come out with some great shit.
Absolutely, man. Damn. Well, we'll be back in 1 second. Welcome back, Hear Me Out Podcast, Season 3, Episode 5.
Handful of them.
Handful of them. Yes, sir.
Wow.
That's my alarm. Is it telling me to eat dinner? It's telling me to eat a snack. Yo, that's a little life hack of mine. Guys. So I have times on like all my like throughout the day where I'm like eat breakfast, eat lunch, don't eat this or go to sleep or something like that. You just gotta I don't know. It's implanted in my brain. Whatever. But enough about
you be forgetting to eat sometimes? Or?
Yeah,
it'd be like that.
That's
sometimes.
deep, bro. How you forget? I love food. So how you forget to eat?
Have y'all never woke up throughout the day and just in the morning, just I don't want to eat anything yet, and then by 3 p.m. you're just
it's damn, I should be eating something.
That might be why I got a low key belly because I eat so much.
No.
It is what it is.
Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Man. All right, Gustavo, man. Since we're on the topic of food, man, tell us some stuff that you like to eat.
That I like to eat.
What do you like?
Typical
to eat,
Brazilian food, basically.
rice,
black beans, steak.
All right, so now that I got, he's the first Brazilian person on the show. Just by the way,
gang.
Gosh, throw that out there, gang, of course. And then so what is farofa in English? How would you describe that to an American
I don't even know how to describe this. I've tried to describe it. It's this grainy, kind of breadcrumbish, topping that you put on, black beans or food. You can put it on anything, really. We put it on our cereal a little bit.
Oh, no.
Texture. So if you're trying to farofa, put it on your cereal first.
Nah. You gotta put that on top of the rice and beans. You gotta put on the rice and beans to spread everything around. You know what I'm saying? Does your mom ever put sausages in the farofa?
Oh, yeah. No, I've had that before though.
Oh my god, bro, that is hilarious. I'm so happy that we finally got a Brazilian person on the show, man. So, all right, cool. Back to the whole photography thing, man. So, matter of fact, no. Let's backtrack a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
My upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
So, anything specific or
just where you were born and raised? What did you what were you into growing up? Were you into photography always, or was that something along the way?
Mm-hmm. I feel I was always a creative kid. Even at a young age, I was always playing imaginary shit and creating stories with my friends. Even later on, maybe in middle school and stuff, I would do videos around the neighborhood. We'd make little movies and whatnot. And I only started getting into photography just way later, or not way later, but I guess coming into high school that I started really getting serious with one form of, I guess, art or entertainment or whatnot.
Right.
So yeah.
Would you say you had family that helped inspire that in you, or constantly encouraged you, or were like that too?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so I definitely had my parents, of course, and I had cousins, aunts, all just pushing me to do this. Also, I had people or friends from school and whatnot that were also encouraging me to keep taking photos and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So that's just what really drove me to keep pursuing it and getting better and whatnot. So,
absolutely, man. So we see that you've had work published in the XXL and the Baltimore Times. So run us through those two experiences. What was it like to have your work on those platforms?
So XXL was crazy. That was 2016, 17. I think I just got an email out of nowhere. This is after shooting this. I don't know if you know who Wretch is.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah.
Damn.
So I shot Wretch. And he posted one of my photos, and then once he posted it, a couple hours later, I get an email from XXL saying that they looked at my page and whatnot, and they loved the pictures and they wanted to post some. So they ended up posting a couple on their IG, and then they posted a bunch on their website too, with some articles. Mm-hmm. And then for the Baltimore Times, I shot a couple events over here in DC and in Baltimore. Two of them were I don't know if you know what trap art is.
Trap art. I think I've heard of trap art.
Yeah, they're a traveling art show, which is centered around hip hop. Mm-hmm. So it's people that make hip hop esque paintings and stuff like that, and they have other stuff too. But I covered that with my friend Jordan Taylor, who's now a writer over there, and I also covered Butch Dawson and Friends over in Baltimore as well.
Dude, Butch Dawson, man. Let's talk about that for a second. So he passed out in the middle of your photo.
That was an insane. That was an insane show.
Tell us about that. Tell us about that moment. You could tell us about the night. Long story short, but tell us about that moment.
Was it Wendy Williams when she passed out middle of her show?
It was more energetic than that because So basically, this was maybe coming to the middle of his set. He was the headliner of the show, and it was a free show. So like the place was packed. It was a bar, and it was packed like all the way to the probably to the doors. I had people like coming out of the doors. So it was like insanely hot. I was like in front of the stage at one point, but there were so many people pushing me forward because just like how the show was. I was like the stage was like up to my knees. It was like this little stage, so I kept on like I was like fuck. So now I have to get up. So I got up on the stage, and I started shooting, and then he started performing his like hit song, his hit single, "Feel Nobody," and that's when it started getting real crazy. So he started performing that, and then like in the middle of like performing like one of the choruses, he passes out, like in the middle of like his set. Throws up, and then gets back up, and then finishes his set.
Damn.
So that shit is crazy.
What a warrior.
It was insane. I didn't get any of the vomit pictures, but I got him passing out. So
you were trying to?
I was trying to, but I couldn't. Like my flash wasn't going off, and like I was.
Yeah.
But it was an insane experience.
So wait, so how long was he like out for?
He was out for a good like minute.
Or
not like minute, but like he was out for like a good like second because it was just from the heat. Like you could tell.
It's like good enough for like an awkward pause.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
So, but people were like hype about it. They were like going crazy.
They didn't give no fucks.
Yeah, they didn't give a shit. So it's just like his friends were. There was a bunch of people on stage, so his friends were like trying to get him back up because he probably needed water or something. They got him water, and then he just finished his set after that.
Sheesh.
But it was a really high energy performance, and like. It's always, if you haven't seen Butch Dawson live, I highly recommend it. He's like incredible. He's on his way up, really.
Nice, man. That's a hell of a fucking experience, man. Jesus. Do you have anything that can rival that in terms of like wildness or energy?
Man, that's a hard one.
That has to be like takes the cake, right?
Yeah, that one like so far that takes the cake as like most wild.
So far, that's the key word, guys. There's more coming in the future.
100%.
Tell us how that little baby thing came to fruition, man.
So for Lil Baby, this was like all through a DM on Twitter.
To him?
Not to him, but there was a artist that was opening up at Bliss Club. So I hit they had like a tweet or whatever. They were looking for a photographer, and like it wasn't going to be paid, but Lil Baby was performing.
Right.
So I hop on that. Like I DM them. I'm like, okay, like I can do photo, I can do video. So they end up like calling me back saying like I'm good to go. I go. I meet the artist. By the way, his name is Who ? He's really nice. He's from Virginia, and I shot his set. And then after that, I had a couple friends that were shooting for the club that I just like happened to like stumble upon that night. And basically, I acted like I was with them, finessed on stage.
See, that's a good example of the finesse, man.
Yeah, I completely forgot, but I basically finessed on stage with them for Lil Baby. We waited there until like maybe he comes on at like really late. It was like 1-2 o'clock in the morning that he came on.
Jeez.
And
that's an after show, right?
Yeah.
From Echo Stage?
It was, I don't know if it was, I wasn't hip to that. I don't know if it was on the same day, but I knew he was just giving a performance. To be honest, I didn't even know if he was going to be there for real. Because
you were rolling the dice then.
Yeah, I was rolling the dice. I was like, okay, like Lil Baby, like here in DC, okay.
Key to success, man.
Yeah.
When you see opportunities on Twitter,
Hop
Facebook,
on
whatever it may
Always
be,
shoot your shot.
Don't wait, do it.
Never.
I promise you, it's going to be the adventure of your lifetime, or it can be.
It can
For
be.
real though, man. Like that's all it took was a DM, and there you are with Lil Baby. So
basically,
did you guys like have a dialogue at all? Or was that
I wish,
like
but it was like bumping like club music, and he was just there rolling his blunt. So like I didn't really have. He was concentrated, so I just like snapped my pictures until like someone told me to like back off or whatever, and then. Basically, he performed. I shot his performance. I took a little video of his performance, hopped back on stage, got a couple more shots, and then he left. Damn. So that was the night. He left at like, maybe like, I was out of there at like 3.
Sounds like a productive night.
Yeah, it was.
Is there anything else that you're getting ready to Like any other concerts really that you're getting ready to shoot, or just
not right now, but I'm trying to shoot some festivals this summer, hopefully, or this upcoming spring too. So I just need to find plugs for that, basically.
Trying to go to Broccoli City.
I wish, I hope. We'll see.
That's what I was thinking too. I
really
thought you were at
Broccoli
Broccoli Fest, or Broccoli City.
I shot one at one point for DJ Booth. It was in 2017, and that was the one with like 21 Savage. Solange was the headliner.
Beyonce's sister.
Yeah.
The one that beat Jay-Z's ass.
Yes,
that one right there. And but basically the way Broccoli City was set up, at least at that time, they didn't give me a pit pass, so I had to shoot from the crowd. So God. I only got like a couple good shots from like a couple performers. And that was like only maybe 3 or 4 performers. It was like Smino, it was Kevin Abstract.
Smino is dope.
Smino is sick. And 21, basically.
Nice. So, and Will the Rapper too, I see you worked with him as well. So, out of all these people that you worked with, man, how many of them would you say that like you had like a direct dialogue with them?
A direct dialogue? Probably with more of the people that like I worked with directly. So, people like... Jet Bailey, Juice Bruns, Butch, I've had a couple dialogue with him, Soda, Black Sheep, a couple other I'm probably missing. Khan, I don't know if you know who Khan is, but he was one of the first people I actually shot for like concert-wise. I'm trying to think, I'm definitely missing a bunch of names, but like a bunch of like local artists here. But for more of the like the top tier artists, I haven't really had much like straight up like dialogue contact with. It's more like, oh, I'm there, I'll shoot the show, and then if I get lucky, maybe I'll say introduce myself or whatnot.
Hey, nice, man. It's all a matter of chance, man. Like for people to like, not even just for photographers, just for like anybody, it does involve a little bit of luck too. You know what I mean? Like, so
100%.
Luck networking, all that.
Luck networking, exactly.
Gambling on yourself, man. That's the one true thing that you can do is
100%.
just gamble on yourself and believe in what you can do.
Definitely.
Just like with this, with my writing, your photography, anybody here, makeup, for Brenda, like, you just gotta believe in what you can do and just network yourself, man.
What would you say to a photographer that is that's like discouraged by like, you know, not gaining traction or something like that? Like, what would you say to someone who's like in a position like as a photographer that's struggling to get past that hurdle?
Man, you just have to stay persistent. I struggle with that myself. Like, I'm not the most, you know, famous photographer on Instagram or whatnot, but you have to just.
You are talented though, man.
Thank you, man. But you have to just keep on grinding and just keep on like pushing stuff that's original and that's like what you want on your Instagram or whatever, or as your photography. Can't be, you know, it can be inspired by other people, but you don't want to be pushing out the same stuff that everybody else is pushing out, you know what I mean? So you have to stay true to yourself and just, you know, be persistent.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
And as far as just like your social media presence, you're talking about networking, just reaching out to however many people you can.
Yeah.
Is there like a brand or anybody that you really like inspire to like have your social media be like, or is it just your own type of thing? So
I mean, like, I've seen a couple people that are like really good at the social media game. Like basically one of the photographers I mentioned earlier, Marcus Hyde, I don't know if you know, he's Kim Kardashian's like personal photographer, or was for a little bit, yeah. And he's worked with like Childish Gambino and like Chance the Rapper, Logic of course, and like he's a fashion photographer too, but he's from Virginia, and he's used like social media so well that he's grown to like, I've been following him for like maybe like 5 years, and he's grown from like however many photographers he was at like at the time that I was, probably like 100, 200K or something like that. Now he has like 1 million and whatnot. So I've just been watching how he works, and also Butch and his media team are insane. I've been watching them too, and the way they market and brand themselves is really like smart, and like just like keeps you, I guess, like thinking about that brand or that name or whatnot. So
for sure. And do you see yourself doing anything else other than like hip hop photography, or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the main focus?
My main focus is the music photography, but I also want to try to get into like fashion photography as well. And that's something I've been like dabbling in every now and again. But here in Maryland, in like the DC, DMV area, is not like, it's pretty hard, or at least for me, it's pretty difficult to get into like the fashion game. So I've been doing a bunch of stuff in New York with some agencies there.
Is it like runway stuff or just?
It's like just shoot stuff.
Okay.
Basically.
I wanted to piggyback off of that question that he asked about like the whole social media game. Do you believe that to be a big presence in the like the photography industry that you have to have that social media following?
I don't think so. I feel like you don't need it, but like in this day and age is very, of course, like useful, helpful. But if you're, let's say you have connections within whatever industry that you're trying to get, whether it's like fashion or music or maybe like weddings or whatnot, then you could make it without social media or without a huge social media presence. But of course, the presence will help you a lot, especially like in this day and age.
It's crazy, man. It's so crazy how people like. I don't remember who I was talking to about it, but I don't know if y'all have noticed. There's literally like women and men as well that are becoming famous just off of social media. Like you got public figures, social media influencers. Yeah. Like it's the most overused term.
It's crazy.
Like so you got people that, you know, shout out to everybody. Like I'm not knocking anyone's hustle because it is a hustle at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? So people like Vine stars, like, you know, IG models and shit like that. Do you believe that there is a talent behind people like that to be, well, comedians definitely, but I guess more the Instagram models. Do you believe that you have to have a specific talent, like when it's really just the looks that people are looking for on IG? Do you think it's a little deeper than that?
I feel like it depends on the model, I guess. So you can kind of tell who's serious about, you know, fashion or modeling rather than Instagram likes and selfies and whatnot. So, I mean, like, it's basically something that you can have to, like, figure out for yourself, I guess.
So it varies from person to person.
Yeah, it varies from person to person because, like, you can't really just say this whole group is not serious about what they're doing, you know? So, or at least that's my opinion.
Yeah, that's true. There could be like, you know, some people that may ruin it for others or something. Like
that.
Yeah, man. Hear Me Out podcast, season 3, episode 5. Mr. Gustavo Dro, DT, 5X champion. Man, so we asked about if you play sports. Do you watch any sports?
I watch soccer.
Nice,
but I haven't watched in like 2 years. Yeah, Barcelona,
nice. You got any squad back in Brazil?
Flamengo.
Flamengo. So wait, does that make y'all a rival Botafogo, right?
I believe so. And Fluminense, right?
Oh damn! So I guess
there's a bunch of teams in Rio. I'm sure.
His team, and my team, they don't go hand in hand. So sucks for that. But Brazilian soccer, man, it's I don't know.
I'm not caught up.
Yeah, me neither, man. It's nothing compared to like the Barcelonas of the world and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. So that's the sports end of it, man. Damn, and then you had a question you want to ask? Damn, I just completely lost my train of thought. Give me 1 second. Yo, bro, so... Damn, I'm trying to think what was I about to...
I want to ask y'all two a question, man.
I just completely lost my train of thought.
We were just like talking about cultural stuff, like Brazilian culture and this Brazilian soccer, like... What's like the difference, the biggest difference, between like what we're doing here in America as far as like sports, culture, whatever it is, versus what y'all do back over there, back at home?
So like sports wise, like I guess sports wise, at least for soccer,
more extreme.
Yeah, definitely at least for soccer. I mean that's basically all there's like soccer, volleyball. What else? There's definitely handball. Some more stuff. Handball. Are we nice at handball?
Nah, hell nah. I know that like Brazilian people like handball. Yeah, is it soccer?
I feel it's more organic, like the way they go from playing as like kids and teenagers in the academy and then going into professional. Like as a soccer player, because rather than here you're paying to play at an academy. Yeah. And then after the academy,
very elitist.
Yeah, exactly. And then you're just going to go to college And then by the time you're done with college, you're what, like
22 years
yeah.
Right around.
And you're going to go to either an MLS team or you're probably done. So, or go to a small European team. But there's not much like growth, I guess, when it comes to soccer here in the United States, but it's definitely like fixing itself in a way. Like more people are realizing like what's going on.
I feel like on the women's side is more like growth opportunity.
Oh, 100%.
Because the women's soccer,
crush it.
They're savage. Like out of all the like women, in terms of women's soccer, the U.S. is like powerhouse. U.S. and Brazil. But the rest of your question that you had asked, like about was like what's the biggest cultural difference, like in all aspects or like certain?
Like in all aspects, you could say.
One thing that I've noticed about Brazilian people, I don't know if you could like vouch for this or not, but they're a lot more like brutally honest about things compared to Americans. Like I feel like a lot of American people like to sugarcoat, beat around the bush, and like just kind of do what they can to avoid, hurting people's feelings with the truth, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like Brazilian people, and anybody who knows me, I kind of be like talking shit sometimes about Brazilian people, just because when they go to TGI Fridays, they don't tip shit. Brazilian people can't tip. But you know what? I still love my family back home, and Gustavo's parents are really cool people. So, nah, man. But the like in terms of just like the way the social life is and stuff like that, I feel like people are more real to each other. They're like because people appreciate honesty. You know what I'm saying? Like if you do something that I don't like, chances are I'm gonna come to you and be like, bro, look, you did some shit, I don't like it. As opposed to a lot of times we meet people down here that'll be like man, fuck Brooks, man. Brooks did this. Oh, hey Brooks, what's up, man? And it's like my whole energy switches up. Like I don't feel good about that. I don't even know if that's the Brazilian in me, but I feel like as a whole, that's probably like the biggest social takeaway. Can you think of anything else?
Man, I don't know. Because I feel like I have to like live there than live here. But I feel like
you've never lived there, right?
I've never lived there, but I've been there for like a good amount of like periods of time. I feel like there, I guess people are a bit more open and more, I guess, like happy. I guess in a way, in a way, just like in their demeanor and like how they talk to people. It's more of like an open way of speaking rather than like the American who's like typically like closed and like doesn't want to talk to like or make conversation with other people, because like Brazilian people, they love to make conversation.
Hell yeah,
they love to make conveation. They'll make conversation with anybody.
We're over here having a conversation. You know what I mean? And I was actually like about to say me and my girlfriend, like we were, my aunt is here from Brazil, and every time we wake up, the first thing she's doing, she's like singing, dancing, like just doing all types of like uppity, like what I mean, like I don't know, in a way I don't even want to say, because this might not be all the way true, but it seems almost like they appreciate life more, like they enjoy being like alive for a new day, as opposed to waking up and complaining about the fridge isn't cold enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's like my biggest takeaway.
Interesting takes we have here.
So you know what? Since you asked us about ours, man, how about you tell us where you're from and some cultural differences between the two, if you want.
Man. Y'all were talking about like, because I'm half black, half Korean, and I grew up around my mother's side of the family more often, my Korean side, and just like how you were saying about like the bluntness and like just being upfront with everything, my Korean side definitely has that, and then there's like a little bit of shade going around too, like that tends to happen.
Can't avoid it.
Like close knit families anyway, but yeah, for sure a lot of like bluntness.
I'm gonna go on the record and say this right now: Brazilian women are the biggest gossip queens on earth. That's all I'm gonna say.
Sure, yeah.
If I fuck up, everybody in the family knows about it.
And the sad thing is, you can speak the language. I don't know any Korean, so I don't know what the hell they be saying. So, like they could honestly be talking shit, and I would never even know. But like that's.
You don't understand it?
There's some things that like I can get like context clues, or just like what are you saying type of thing, like my hair is my hair is wild, so like I always get shit from my uncle. He was a rock marine Republic of Korean Marines. They're like super hardcore over there. And anytime he sees me when my hair is like this or just like super long, he's always like, "Oh, like, why don't you get a haircut?" Blah blah blah. And, you know, that happens with like old school folks, but
big
facts. Know that, yeah.
Yeah, my parents don't like my hair either, man. But hey, that's just the old folks hating on the new folks.
Yeah, man, but I love my family and I love being who I am. So no complaints,
man.
Yes,
sir. I can say we all love that here, man. So, Mr. Gustavo in the building, man. I wanted to ask you, man, how did that whole how did you run into Steve Aoki and get that shoot out the way?
So that basically happened with, I met a photographer that was there, that was working at the festival. His name is Speedy Pete, and he helped me get backstage, and he was just showing me around, and then Steve Aoki comes out of his like trailer and like sits on a picnic table, pulls out his laptop and just starts working on the set. Yeah, by himself. He's just chilling. Like, I didn't get to introduce myself because I got kicked out before that, but I took a couple like pictures of just him like sitting there and like getting ready for the show. And after that, he like packed up his things, like went back to his trailer, and then like chilled outside for a while. And then like I got kicked out from there. And then once I got kicked out from there, though, I got on stage, and I waited on stage until he came on. So he comes on stage, and I take a picture of him like walking through.
Opportunistic.
Yeah, and then basically I just stayed there as long as I could. And there's this one shot that I was just like basically like, you know what, I just got to risk it all, or else like I'm not gonna get this. But he comes up in front of his like screen. He comes around and he comes to the front of the stage, and he's just like kind of controlling the crowd. And this man is like a full on. I don't know if you've seen him like perform ever, but he's seen
videos.
He's crazy.
He's a maestro, man.
He's a rock star, bro. Of the EDM world, like that man's crazy. He has insane crowd control. Everybody was following what he was doing. So I got like right behind him while he was like doing this thing with his arms. And then I have like a picture of like him just doing this, and then everybody else doing the same exact thing. So it was some wild stuff. But after that, they're like, "Yo, you're not supposed to be here."
So how many times did you get booted that day from where you were at?
That day, probably like 3-4 times until I actually like they actually got me out.
That specific situation at least 3 or 4 times.
So and they remembered you after a while.
Yeah, after a little bit, they got to know who I was. They got familiar.
And then how was that last one? It was more forceful?
The last one was basically,
dude, you gotta go.
Yeah, it's basically that. It's like, who are you? I was like, yo, I'm here just shooting. What are you talking about?
Damn, man. So is he supposed to be having like hired photographers or something? Like,
nah,
are you breaking any laws by doing that?
I hope not. If so, I wasn't there. Those pictures are fake.
Nah, we're not snitching. No.
But no, I don't think so. But it was just the festival people that were taking the pictures. These people were hired by the festival to take the photos that were there. I don't think he had any. I think maybe he had like one like photographer that was his. Mm-hmm. But besides that, everybody else was working for the festival or freelancing. But the freelancers were all like in the pit. Like I just managed to like sneak my way.
Did you have any credentials for that?
Yeah. No, I had credentials to be like shooting, but from the pit. It was I'm pretty sure it was full sets that day because they didn't really care for the 3-song thing. So I basically shot like more than half of Steve Aoki's set on stage, and then I came back down and then finished off whatever he had left.
What event was this that you were?
This was Clubhouse Fest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was mainly EDM, but they had a couple like hip hop performers that were there.
You gotta shoot where you can shoot.
Yeah, definitely.
Opportunistic, man.
Always.
So how would you, other than opportunistic, man, how would you describe yourself as a photographer?
As a photographer, I guess like very determined, hardworking, persistent. Like I'm very persistent. So I really try to get like done what goals I have like in mind, and like I'll try everything to make that happen, to make that like possible.
Have you had any situations that you could recall that were like that was somewhat of an L that made you want to bounce back from?
Like I mean, I've had a couple like maybe like shows that I've been to that with like maybe my settings weren't right, or the pictures I got like weren't that great. Like,
you ever
I'll
left
be
the
myself.
cap on the front of the camera?
Nah.
That's some amateur shit.
Yeah, so we're definitely not there with it, but continue.
Yeah. But basically small stuff like that, or maybe not waiting around long enough for an artist to come out, or not like taking risks that would put me in situations that I would get better pictures or whatnot. Sometimes I would like, or at least when I was first starting, I would like hold back on things and like wouldn't take like major risks.
Like being in places you're not supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly. Because like you're obviously like as a person you're gonna be uncomfortable there because like you know you're not supposed to be there, and at any point someone can be like, "Yo, what the fuck are you doing here?" But besides that, like I feel like I've definitely grown to not care as much anymore.
Have you ever had a situation where like we had a videographer here before, Reggie Reg, and he was saying how he once left his camera and like a bunch of equipment in an Uber ride.
Damn.
Has something like that ever happened to you where you
Dude, I would
knock on wood
For Reggie Red.
knock on wood right there.
Yeah, nah, I'd be sick if I lost like any. The most important, really, like I have insurance like on my like gear, but like what I would be most.
What does that
like,
insurance entail though?
To be honest, I just hope it like covers everything. But I would be most like, I just wouldn't want to lose the cards really, because those are irreplaceable.
That's like everything's on that one card, yeah, for sure.
So that's never happened to you before?
Nah, never. I hope not.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
Yeah, dude, me neither. I know.
Dude, if I lost my stuff, I'd be so sick.
Yo, that's crazy, man. Nah, the memory card really is like the most important thing. The camera is replaceable.
The camera's replaceable. The content is not. That's a moment that you're never gonna get back.
Jeez, man. Yeah, that is like a photographer, a videographer, even podcaster's worst nightmare. I've had like we had a golden interview one time, man, with Johnny Cash. Shout out Johnny Cash.
Oh my god.
Golden interview, man. And then my basement just gets flooded with water all of a sudden. And on top of that, like I'm over here trying to fix my MacBook, and then like I guess I left it in the cold or something. It restarted itself. My like Adobe shit just crashed, man. Crashed. Lost like 3 interviews I hadn't even gotten started on, man. It was just like, yeah, dude.
And like
that
was like early season 2.
Yeah, you get a new Mac, or like I got a new MacBook somewhere along the line. That was like later on, but you know the MacBook replaceable. The files are not, man. That's the worst part. Like just the content itself, man. But that sucks.
Horrible.
Yeah, man. It really does.
Last season too.
Damn.
Yeah.
Because then you accidentally watched the Mac too. living too.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about this for the.
What does that mean?
I'm gonna talk about this for the first time.
It was the first time
ever. Okay, so welcome to a moment in history, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to SB Nation.
For real.
So I was editing a podcast off the late night, like probably 4 or 5 in the morning, and I'm just editing, right? And then I have my clothes in here because I have a very bad tendency of like my clothes come out the dryer, and then I leave them probably in the basement for a couple days before
like a pile type shit.
They're still like in a pile, like in the hamper, but I won't bring it up for a couple days. All some lazy shit, and then I just like threw like it on top of the clothes. I guess it probably slid down a little bit somewhere along the line, right? And me just being in a rush, my mom's like, "Bring her!" Oh no, those are the dirty clothes. Yeah, because it went into the. So it was the dirty clothes, and then I'm grabbing my dirty clothes. It slips in there, whatever. I had no idea, and it's so much clothes, and I'm just flip everything in there. Didn't hear a thump, didn't hear anything, so I didn't check it. And then I'm over here looking for my MacBook, because dude, in my head I'm like, I'm not that stupid. I wouldn't do that. And I'm just over here looking. Okay, it's not here. It's not in my car. And I was like, nah, bro. It popped in my head, and I was like, nah. And then I opened it. Sure enough, it's like folded like a fucking.
Oh, bro.
Bro, I was just like, I looked at it, and like, as much as I wanted to laugh or like film a video, I was just like, oh my god, bro. It was like a disaster, man.
I got a text message in the group chat. And I lost my mind because I was laughing so hard, but then I was like, damn, we just had a really good interview. I was hurt.
Bro, my MacBook was like this. It was like. It was just like in the shape of the washing machine.
Yeah.
Like it went
of
in
the
a
middle.
bunch of circles.
Damn, dude. So
shout out Bruno.
For a good minute.
Shout out.
Yeah.
At least it was super clean when it came out.
This shit took a whole wash cycle. Moral of the story is don't be lazy. Do things when you got to do it because you might wash your MacBook one day. Hear Me Out Podcast, Season 3, Episode 5, new MacBook. Not going in the washing machine this time, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Gustavo in the building, man. Do you have any photography or photographers that you look up to that you like hope that you could like pick their brains one day or something, or maybe work with them?
So Marcus Hyde is definitely one. I met him actually during a chance show, like briefly. Mm-hmm. And also Adam D. Gross. That's basically what's his name? Sorry, Post Malone's photographer.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Adam D. Gross. He's like insane. He's really good. Gunnar Stahl also.
Oh yeah, Gunnar Stahl is hard as shit. He's like always around the big hip hop artists.
Yeah. He's crazy. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely missing a bunch of names. Like I could go on for forever, but those are like some of like the top ones that I really like inspire me.
Definitely check them out. They got the IGs or whatever. I'll drop them in the description. And lastly, man, I wanted to ask you, or did you were you about to say something?
No, I'm the new rock.
Oh, my bad. I thought you were gonna say something.
Like,
I was gonna say, damn, I lost my train of thought again, man. It's leaving the station. We were talking about photography, inspiration. So I guess this is like completely random. This randomly popped in my head for some reason, man. I seen R.I.P. Mac Miller, man. I see you were a big fan, man.
Yeah.
Take us through like when did you start listening to Mac Miller?
Dude, Mac Miller, I got introduced to him. Like, basically, it's weird. My upbringing is kind of weird when it comes to music, because like I came from a very like religious household, but not like super religious, like crazy way. But like I was just listening to like Christian music until like high school. So I get introduced to Logic, and I get introduced to Mac Miller from like my neighborhood friend. Mm-hmm. So this was like in 2012, 13. So for Logic, Welcome to Forever just dropped, and then for Mac, I think it was like at the time like I didn't really listen to him that much because he was like the party rapper or whatever. So I wasn't like taking him seriously. So he had like Nikes on my feet and all that at that point in time. So years go by and A Good AM comes out. So I started listening to that. Yeah, I listened to Good AM and I'm like, damn, like Mac is like actually really nice. I don't know why I haven't been listening to him. So I listened to all of Good AM. I started going back and listening to all his other stuff, like movies with the sound off, Faces. It's definitely Blue Side Park. And I started really falling in love with his music, and like I started watching interviews and stuff, and like I became like a huge fan from then on.
Do you remember where you were when you found out he passed away?
Yeah, I do. So I was at home. I was taking a nap before my shift, and basically my girlfriend calls me, and she's like, "So I have some news. Like, so Mac died," and I'm like, "You're lying. Like, you're not serious. Like."
And that's one of those like
it was a crazy. So I'm like, okay, let me check Twitter real quick. Like I'm gonna have to like go see if this is like legit, and then I see all the headlines, and I'm like, it's damn, insane, dude. Bro. Yeah, it really hit me like hard. Like that, he was definitely one of my favorite artists, and like it felt like I was losing like a part of myself when he died. So
isn't it crazy like how you can connect with just one artist that much?
It's crazy because like you never meet the guy, but you feel like you're right there with him.
Like this artist like him, like X, rest in peace to X, like you literally
X's was crazy too.
You literally like feel so much emotions just listening to their songs, or just like
feel like you know them because they're in your ears so often.
It's crazy.
I definitely felt that way about. I think I felt that way more about X, just because like I was way more like into like his style of music. Not like I was relating to it or anything. Mm-hmm. It's just like the vibes were like stronger like when I was listening to X. Yeah, I guess you could say, but Mac is definitely underappreciated for sure, man. Like like he got a lot. He had a really bad go of things like the last like 5 years or so. Got like caught up with like drugs and stuff like that, and but I'm not here to judge the man or anything like that, or paint him in a bad light. He's definitely like had a bad go of things, but he is still very underappreciated. R.I.P. that guy, a legend. Not to mention, I remember like I was way more into Wiz, but I also was just like, man, this guy Mac Miller like makes bangers, man. Like that's back when J. Cole came out and Mac Miller, Wiz Khalifa, like when Currency was the shit, man. Like they were all up there. Mac Miller was considered like top 5 best rappers.
We were like freshmen, sophomores in high school when they were all popping like that.
Our whole style came from Mac Miller. Like for me, like I was wearing the snapback with the
dude. That was a whole era. That man,
dude.
That man literally.
The LeBrons, like the LeBron.
Yeah, the LeBrons. Bruh.
Foams, all that crazy.
There's all these crazy colors too, blue, green, like
that was
that
was a real crazy era right there. Oh my gosh, that's a throwback for sure.
I guess that's why that one could run a little more deep than X, just because X's his fame was short lived.
It was short lived. Mac definitely had a huge influence on a lot of the people that are coming up today.
Oh yeah,
and he definitely
including
had a
Logic
hand.
too.
Yeah,
even
man.
On Young Sinatra, he gave a shout out.
Yeah,
to
shout out to
Mac
Mac Miller. The what's it called? It's on that one hit that he had. I forgot the song.
It was his outro. The outro and the outro was the shout out to Mac.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But I'm talking about like the mixtape.
Yeah.
It was like right in the beginning of the song. It's like shout out to Mac Miller. I got the Nikes on my feet as we speak, homie. And then he goes,
man.
So he's a huge influence, definitely.
Other than those two, like Logic and Mac, like who else would you say is on your daily rotation of just playlists, songs, whatever, maybe?
Definitely. So basically, I listen to a lot of J. Cole, Kendrick. Who else? Smino. I've been listening to a lot. Masego, Goldlink.
Yo, Masego and Smino, man.
Masego's nice.
Shout out to both of them.
And been listening to a lot of Goldlink. Been listening to a lot of the local people around here as well. Trying to think who else. Daniel Caesar, Frank Ocean. Definitely a lot more. I've been listening to a lot of rock too, like the Strokes, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Shout out Red Hot Chili Peppers. I love Red Hot Chili Peppers. Yo, what local artists do you like, man, around this area?
Local artists? So, kind of like the people I mentioned before. So, like Butch Dawson, I've been listening to a lot. Soda, I've been listening to a good amount recently. I've been listening to a lot of people in the Baltimore area.
Oh, nice.
And, I have a couple friends also that I worked with heavily. So, Juice Bruns, Jet Bailey, Selesky, all very nice, like really, really good artists. Let's see who else. Thunder Club is also really good. They're rock though, so not hip hop, but they make amazing music. Yeah, still local. They're from Baltimore. Let me see any more names.
YB Escola?
I've shot him once.
Nice.
It was
he's tough too.
It was during the Break the Internet Festival. It was over in DC. Meek Mill was the headliner. And he was just like there on stage. So yeah, there's chain. That's the only reason I figured it out.
That big shiny ass chain.
Yep. That's the only reason I figured out who he was, because like I didn't know who he was before.
Yeah, man, we seen him live, man. Like open up for Little Skies. This guy has a fucking chain that goes like shoulder to shoulder, super shiny diamonds, man. Yeah, nice chain you got going on there, man. But
sure.
Shout out to the chain.
Shout out to the chain.
What'd you think of a Middle Child?
Middle Child?
I was about to ask that. What'd you think of that song?
I thought it was fire.
Hell yeah,
sure, bro. Yeah. Speaking as a middle child, shout out to you for putting the song out.
Wait, you're the middle child?
Yeah.
I always thought you're the oldest one.
Hell no. Sister, or older sister, younger brother.
Damn.
Classic middle child, man. But yeah.
Can't relate. I'm the baby of the family. Yeah, you got any siblings?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest?
I got 2 younger siblings.
How old are you, man?
I'm 20.
20.
Yeah.
When do you turn 21?
August 14th.
Hey, right around the corner, man. Yes, sir.
Likes that.
Yeah, man. Anybody want to give a shout out to Gustavo?
Any shout outs?
You want to dedicate this shout out moment to anybody?
Shout out to my parents.
Yes, family first, baby.
For hooking us up with a good interview.
100%. Shout out to my mom for getting this even possible, for real.
Yes, sir. Gustavo in the building. Thank you for coming, man.
Appreciate you coming through, Brody.
Absolutely. And we'll see y'all next week.